evening, everybody. Call it to order at 7 p.m. on the dot. Let's start with board norms, which are to maintain our focus, communicate respectfully, be present, keep the board productive and effective, and respect the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Seeing none, I believe we have a student here for the student report.
Hi. It's been a hot minute. I was at the last one at a game. And speaking of games, the girls varsity soccer made it to the semifinals and then lost 6-3 to Pulteney. But you know, we made it pretty far, so. Boys varsity got knocked out in playdowns 2-1, which is kind of sad. Basketball starting soon, so we're excited about that. I believe that middle school starts next week, and then varsity starts after Thanksgiving break. Biggest news of the night is that Aladdin plays Thursday through Saturday, so should be a pretty good show coming out Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday at 2, and Saturday night as well. And then intensives just got released, so we have trips to China, Belize, DC, London, New Orleans. Kids are super excited. They were like itching last Friday to find out. They're very excited. The music department has their concert next Tuesday, I believe 6 p.m., possibly 7 p.m. in Dutton. And then the Rebel Rooster just had their first issue come out last week, so we're really excited about that. It was pretty interesting. We had some articles on the phone ban, the dress code, various teacher interviews, and a crossword that they had, which is pretty cool. Yep. That's about all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was a great run, by the way. Yeah. Beating West Rutland #1.
Oh my
That was
God.
undefeated.
I know. If you asked me, like, do you think you're gonna make it to semifinals first game? I was like, oh hell no.
You guys did.
In my day, West Rutland was rivals,
Oh, yeah.
big rivals, so
Yeah, that was
the
fantastic.
Golden Horde.
So are you going anywhere?
Oh yeah, I'm going to DC. Super excited. O'Donnell, I know you're in there. He's taking me to DC.
I see him right there.
Oh yeah.
Thumbs up. Fantastic.
Yep.
Great. Any questions, thoughts for Josiah? Thank you. Great report.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm heading out.
Okay.
I have work tomorrow, unfortunately.
Careful out there.
Yeah. Bye guys.
Little
Thank you.
breeze.
All right, public comment. Let's start with anybody out in Zoom land. See any hands up out there, Dana?
I do not.
You do not. All right, I think we have somebody in here who is both a parent and a board member who would like to put on the parent hat right now.
Yes, so I'm speaking as a parent, not as a board member. This looks really long, but I promise you that I write really big and can only fit like 2 words on a line. So, I'm addressing the board as a parent. I removed my youngest from school over a month ago. I want to make it clear the reason was 90% my child's behavior and 10% to do with the school. When I say 10% to do with the school, what I felt was not intentionally done by the school. The language they used trying to support him could have caused more problems for our family. I will say I'm enjoying having him without his siblings. He has the best heart and honestly would be the perfect only child. Homeschooling has really opened my eyes to his needs. We have always asked for help with him for math. This year, I put my foot down and said, we will not do more than 2 math problems a night for math. He cries, and I think my husband is on the verge of crying. I was told he does great with math in school. I don't believe that, and especially now that we are homeschooling. A single-digit math sheet was taking over 10 minutes. At his grade level, I believe it should take max 3 minutes. We are down to 5 minutes, and we'll move on to subtraction when he reaches 4 minutes. I hope to cover basic math, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division by the end of the school year. Fun fact, he was like, I have never heard of division. He is a 5th grader. A week and a half ago, I got his state scores. He scored below standards in every category of math. We spend a lot of money in this district on special ed. I honestly don't see the benefit in our kids. Instead of pairing a special educator with a failing math student, they are used as extra daycare workers for behavior issues, and our test scores continue to decline. Also, when I think of behavior problems, I think maybe that kid has no clue what they are learning, so they disrupt, so they deflect the fact they don't understand. Or it could be they are so far ahead, they are bored and create problems. The point is, we need to do better in educating our kids and utilizing our special ed. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. All right, thank you. Moving on to survey of families update. Lindsay, what's your name there?
So Bob and I have gone back and forth a little bit more on this. I believe that he was trying to piece together our last revisions.
Yeah, the survey is ready to go. So we were just waiting to have this meeting and then we can get it out. We still have some challenges around distribution. Obviously, we've talked about this. We have pretty easy access to current students. We can even do versions to home study students. We know who those are. It's the students that we don't know, who have either never enrolled in West River or who have left. We may or may not have contact information for those students. I do know that in the River Valleys, they're doing a survey for one of their schools, and they wanted the survey shared out through their town clerks, through mailing lists that the towns had. So we did that. We could do that in this situation. I'm a little nervous about getting data back that might not be real, but you have to trust that people are going to only fill it out if they actually have kids and have engaged in the system in some way, or have thoughts about why they didn't. So yeah, that's where we're at, but it is ready to roll, and we have made some tweaks, as Lindsay pointed out, and I think we're good to send it out.
Great. And do we need to?
Do we look at it?
Yeah, do we
Take
get
it.
to see it?
Yeah.
Bob, are you able to send that to everybody on the board?
The survey. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Do you want me to send out the link to fill it out now? Which, I mean, I can't do it right now because I'm not at a computer, but I could.
So can you, maybe I can click on it. Do you have it in front of you where you could like read through what the questions are, like the tree?
Can you
I
just
do
send
not
it?
know.
No, we don't need
Yeah.
to read it, we just need to sign it.
I mean, the questions are literally like, do you have a kid in our school? What grade levels did they attend?
Do we have that list somewhere of all the
You
questions?
must have the questions on a list.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the,
Copy and paste into a document. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we have, Lindsay has the actual link to the survey itself. You guys,
Yeah,
you
I'm
could
just
share
trying to
out. I
grab
just
it
have
out of
to
my
know-
email.
We just have to know, we have to wipe the data before we actually send it out for real.
So
She's using it as a test opportunity.
right. I've tested it a lot. It's full of false data right now. So we literally start with select the current grade level of your student.
Can you just
Yeah.
paste it? Can Bob just paste
Cut and
it?
paste.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No.
Just
So we
paste
can-
it into a document and say, here's the questions, not just like
Yeah,
no,
reading
that's great to
them
hear
off,
you,
yeah.
Lindsay, but I think it's not hard to just share the text if that's.
It's in a Google form, so
I will share the link of the Google form and everyone can, because that way you can follow the tree however it goes and
Yeah.
see what is you where.
If you just share the questions, you're not gonna see the tree
Right.
of yes, no response as well.
Oh, it follows a certain path depending on how you
Yeah.
answer.
Correct.
Based on how you answer, correct?
Yeah.
I'm trying to. Yeah. Okay, so I'll send that to everybody and do we need to, I know everybody wants to see what it is, but I don't know how, are we gonna wait another month to do it or should we send it out and unless there's like giant red flags to the board chair or whoever?
Okay.
A couple of you have seen it. I mean, Kate looked at it, Lindsay looked at it.
I just wanted to say, I think you should send it, just share the text with the board so the board knows. I think you all were clear and that seemed fair to me that you would just share it, but that the board isn't gonna like micromanage. But if you just like let the board know what's going out and then send it, I would encourage you to reach out to the town clerks. Like the risk of somebody having extra time on their hands and wanting to mess up a school survey seems lower to me relative to the possibility of getting input from people. And I think that the towns, I know Newfane would love to hear more from the district, from the board, so it's just a nice way to connect.
Sending that email, guys, sorry.
It's not.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I didn't
Thank you,
hit
Kate.
the button.
All right, does anybody disagree with just sending it out but making sure that the board has awareness of what sorry, go ahead, Bob.
I was gonna say I can give it a couple days for you guys to look at. Today's Monday, so if we plan to have it sent out by Friday with like school newsletters and stuff, that gives you guys several days to review. Send me any concerns that people might have, and then if I hear nothing, then it will go out by Friday.
Okay,
Sounds great.
sound good?
God faith, it won't be too
Yes,
many
thank you.
concerns.
Sarah, again? Everybody? Okay. All right, moving on to district quality standards self-assessment.
All right, so you guys wanted to do this. I did I don't know if you have the document in front of you or not, but in short, what I need from you guys is a single score, 1 through 4, of each of those items, numbers 15 through 24, so that I can enter it into the state's survey tool that they use. And I can have that done in a timely manner. The other ones, 1 through 14, are being done by the business office, the IT office, myself. And so it's really just numbers 15 through 24 that you guys have to pay attention to. So I don't know how you want to do it, but we're looking for some kind of a consensus around a 1 to 4 score that I could
do this online.
survey tool.
Can I have a clarifying question? Isn't this the same one that you had sent to us individually to fill out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sent it to you in a survey tool to try to assess if there was, because you guys wanted to see it. I can report back to you on what that data says, if that's a better way to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if we already did it once, let's see if there's any like thing that's drastically, people really don't agree with each other on, right? I don't need to micromanage you, Al, sorry.
No, that's fine, yeah, I saw the survey and, yeah, okay.
I did it too.
Yeah, I mean, from what I remember, the main reason why we actually put this on the agenda was just to see if people had any questions about the questions. From what I remember, our general consensus was to use a self-assessment and just kind of get the mean score.
And also,
Do we have a score, are you able to tabulate a score based on the input?
I'm not sure. I mean, I do. I have the ability to see a score, but it's going to be. Let me see if I can open it up here. So I'm operating off a iPad and a phone, so it's not. It's not the ideal. All right. So, for example, on number 15, governance priorities, I had 1 1, 4 2s, and 3 3s. So I would probably enter that in as a 2, being that that's the average score. maybe a little higher than a 2, but I can only put in whole numbers. Follow what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yep.
I do. Is that how we want to go through this, is based on the inputs?
I mean, I'm comfortable.
Yeah,
But
please.
Whatever.
All right, so I'll just say it again. So that one, so I have 8 total responses. 1 1, 4 2s, and 3 3s. And so to me, that I would just assume that that's a 2. It's the one in the middle. It's got the most. You know, it'd probably be 2 point something if it was really an average, but it's not going to round to a 3. So
Sounds good.
all right. The next one is about annual goals. That one had 2 1s, 3 2s, and 3 3s. So again, 2, 3, 3 in order. So again, I would probably put that in as a 2. So it's that middle score.
Yeah. Okay.
The next one is student progress and wellness. This one is more spread out. I have 2 1s, 4 2s, a 3, and a 4. And again, the bulk of them are 2s, and 2 would be the average as well.
That sounds about right.
Does anyone remember doing the 4? Want to and has an argument for why they think higher than a 2 would be it?
Well, only 2 people had higher than a 2, and 6 people had 2 or lower. So I'm not sure if that's even worth it, Peter. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just seeing, again, we have this on the agenda so that we can talk about the questions if anyone wants to talk about them. So I was just helping facilitate that.
Thank you.
I'm fine with a 2.
Okay, Peter. You can just ask me though if you want to do that going forward. Okay, if you want to facilitate through me. Thank you. How about the next one?
Superintendent performance evaluation is 1 1, 1 2, and 6 3s. So again, based on the numbers, I would probably
Sounds pretty
do that at a
resounding.
3.
Anybody disagree with a 3? No? All right.
Next one is board performance assessment, annually assessing its own performance. 2 in the 1 category, 4 in the 2 category, and 2 in the 3 category. So a perfect curve around the 2s.
2?
Yep.
2,
Yeah.
good. All right.
The next one is board impact on goals.
Sorry,
Four
one second.
ones.
I didn't mean to interrupt this question, just when there's a convenient point, can I ask some questions about this beyond like the numbers?
Sure. Yeah.
I would love to talk a little bit about or to hear what we think our annual like performance goals metric review are.
What number are we on?
Well,
On
my, that
19.
19 for me, that I will admit, I'm sort of
Oh,
looking
sorry.
back a little bit also, but 19, I'd love to kind of understand better what we understand as our annual assessment and measurement tools, and I feel the same way about question 16, about our annual goals and progress. I actually thought the survey seems as much an instruction as it does actually a survey, and so if we have time, I think those are worth
Dig into
discussing.
that.
I
Sure.
know I'm relatively new on the board, but I was like, I don't know that we do this annually in this way,
I
and,
don't think we ever had a board performance assessment.
well, I mean, I you know, in case I'm
Have you ever had a board
missing
performance
something.
assessment?
Possibly, but I don't remember one. Doesn't mean that we didn't. I mean,
Probably did. Yeah.
We're like, we're sort of saying, wait, we're doing this thing, and maybe we think it's a bad idea, or maybe we think we're doing it in a way, but I would like to understand kind of how we think we're doing this, especially if we seem to think collectively that we are.
Approaching proficient.
So just to
I
I
mean,
think it's a bad idea to review some of this too. I will say, just as a reminder, this is a pilot. This is the first operationalization of this. This rubric just came out. It's pretty new. There's been some very basic trainings by the AOE around this, but nothing that's been really helpful. I'm going to be honest. And so this is because it's all so new, and because the timeline on the collection of the data was so short. I think it's something that could be blown out more into like a full board retreat at some point if folks wanted to really understand what this data is expecting. on district quality standards and have a broader conversation. And I'm not saying don't do that now. I don't want to feel like I'm trying to rush you guys, but I do think that to really delve into all of these areas is a much deeper conversation. And then really look at those rubrics and understand what is a board supposed to do according to the AOE. And so, anyways, just my thoughts.
Well, you might be saying the same thing I'm gonna say, but I'll just say, I think that given the nature of this request for this survey and the short timeline that we had, and the fact that it's a pilot, that's all true. And at the same time, I think there's some real value in each one of these categories that we should have a discussion about. I don't know whether it requires a board retreat or what it requires, and that's up to the board. But I think that we're not gonna go through this tonight and have the conversation that we need to have around all of this. And I think it's not just about each one of these individual topics, but I think it's more broadly, what is our role? And so I'd love to have us do that. I don't think we're gonna do that tonight. And unfortunately, the pilot part of this and the short time frame has kind of abbreviated that process anyway, for any of us.
Agreed.
So-
Pete?
Because from what I saw on the agenda, we aren't talking budget tonight, are we? I didn't see that on the agenda.
No.
So, I mean, I really don't see a point. I mean, it seems our agenda is pretty low tonight. Rather than doing what we do for everything and kicking it down the line to never be done, let's talk about it. Or at least let's say here is exactly when we are going to talk about this, which we did at the last meeting. We said, oh, we'll talk about these at this meeting. Just saying. So I would say let's either put it on the agenda for this meeting, or let's talk about it right now.
Well, we can certainly talk about it. I mean, we responded to the survey individually. We're looking at the scores now. I mean, if there's any, as we just did, if there's any one in particular that you want to speak about or agree, disagree, how you feel about it, I think that's fine.
Well,
As we go through.
I mean, cool, we submitted the scores. Now let's say, what are we going to do to improve the scores is, I think, the much more important conversation, rather than do we agree or not on where we're at. Overall, I think we should set a goal on improving these scores.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, but again, this is a pilot. It was pretty much a crunch situation. Bob, when did you get this? Or when did we get the DQS?
I know him.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally a couple weeks ago. The trainings occurred, and the deadline is this coming week. This week is actually I have to have this returned.
Al,
Yes, good.
does Emily think that this is a pilot to kind of monitor the boards, the superintendents, and the possible transitions that are taking place? So they're kind of starting with us for the future of how they plan to operate.
Not a question for me, because
Yeah.
this didn't come to me, but it is a question for Bob, and Bob should be able to give the feedback on what they said.
Yeah, the DQS actually was passed
was
the
a
year
law.
before. It was prior to Act 73 being passed. So
Okay.
in theory, they should be unrelated. However, who knows how the data gets used. That's one of the things that they haven't been super clear about is what they have told us is that this data collection will not be district specific in how they share this information. It's going to be lumped together as a statewide model. So this data will not be reported out in any way at the district level, only at the state level.
Can I ask a question? Just Bob, was there any indication that this was being linked to any of their work on strategic planning that they're doing? Probably not, but I just wondered.
I never heard that specifically.
Okay.
The strategic planning feels like it's in a different lane sometimes.
Yep.
Although maybe there's some master plan at play that has all these things kind of coming together, but I've not seen or heard that.
Thank you.
Lindsay,
All right.
hey,
Um,
we're here to talk.
so, having heard everybody's thoughts, I personally would love to get our scores figured out, go through that, and once that's done, I would love to ask the question of, okay, having done that, and having read all through these questions, which ones are the most concerning to us of things that we feel we need to address as a board more, like I need to understand what this is or how we can do better at it, and then pick one of them to start with tonight, and then put a next one on the agenda for another time, etc. Because we probably can't do whatever it is,
15 of them.
15 different questions tonight.
Yeah. It's not likely.
Pick the one that we can
So,
actually.
that's my
get
2 cents.
All right. So with that, number 20,
Number 20.
I think, is what we're
Okay, let's see.
19.
I think we
We did
went back to 19.
We just,
did.
yeah, I think so.
Is that board impact on goals?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so that one has 4 1s, 3 2s, and 1 3. So this one's a little trickier because it's definitely heavier on the 1 side than the 3 side. So it's hard to say 2 would be an average. But half the people picked 2 or 3, and half the people picked 1. So I think you guys could decide which direction you feel if you reread that rubric language right now to yourselves. And yeah, I don't know. I know
Yeah,
that
that's-
the VSA has had some input onto some of this. Remember, one of the questions I had asked initially was whether this was an SU thing or a district thing, because it seemed some of the, particularly the top part, where it's all like around the financial operations, it's all the same answer. Like there aren't separate answers for how we do, audits. It's the same thing. So to have this done individually by all the different boards was something I was concerned about, because it felt like a lot of busy work when the SU board really should have been the one taking on the task. But I do agree that there can be different, how boards conduct themselves with regards to these standards could be very different. I guess for me, the part that if it feels like I'm not taking it seriously, I am, but what I want you guys to understand is that like this was thrown together in a way that was so abrupt, and like they had hour-long sessions for trainings on different things, and I went to Jen and I and Heidi went to all of them between the three of us, and it was 5 minutes of introductions, and then of slideshow where they read us 4 slides, and then they asked for questions. Like it was so poorly done that it was really unclear what they were trying to do. And it almost was like this was sort of what had been passed at the AOE was like, oh, we'll just do this thing to collect the data. And there really isn't a clear understanding of what the district quality standards are even about or why they're there. So that's my take on it. And so I feel like that particularly as a pilot, it was like, okay, we're just going to put the data in and see what happens. It's not going to reflect on us as individual districts. And then we can kind of unpack it later and see what it looks like. But that's just my 2 cents on the process. The process has been pretty messy.
So,
Sorry, go ahead, Crystal.
would it make sense to just kind of go through this tonight, have Bob figure out the scores?
Yeah.
And then at the next meeting, have this paper again and have the scores and have the discussion, because like you and I just said, on some of these questions, we did ones because we don't do these things, and not available wasn't an option.
Right, right. Well, I mean, using 20 as an example, board impact on goals. What goals?
Yeah, that's what I said.
SIP goals?
So,
It's unclear,
Right.
right? So with lack of clarity, people are just going to, if one is, beginning is NA, then that's what you're gonna gravitate
Right.
towards.
Yeah.
Unless you know specifically which goals. Yeah, I think that's, I did not have clarity on this. And I agree with Bob, I mean, this is something that we should take seriously, but the way it was thrust on you, on us, it's hard to, get to a good place, I think. Go ahead, Dave.
I think we'll finish this up would be a good idea.
Yeah.
But like Kate's saying, maybe we get back, we pick some of the ones that would make priority sense, that maybe, maybe it's something we're not doing right now, but we should be doing.
Yeah.
And use this pilot as a way of continuous improvement plan for the board. And so we can kind of figure out which one would take priority. I mean, we do policy review. I mean, we do it pretty good.
Yeah.
So community engagement evaluation, we're always hurting on that. So that would probably take a priority, especially with upcoming stuff. Board impact on goals, I mean, we gotta come up with goals.
Right.
You know,
Start with that, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, we got those 2 there, let's work on those.
All right, well, let's hear the final
Yeah.
5 scores and then.
Yeah, so that one, because I think you guys are kind of coming to where I'm going with that particular number, I would probably put it at a 1. Because that's where the most votes were, and it doesn't seem like people are even clear if there are goals, never mind whether or not we, review them. So it would seem like a 1 would be the score there. And again, it was 4 1s, 3 2s, and 1 3. So, all right, yeah, community engagement, 5 of them are 1s, 2 2s, and 1 3. So again, very heavy on the 1s there. So I would have scored that as a 1, given a variety. You throw out the Romanian judge. Just kidding. The next one is the continuous learning. This one again you got 1 to 4 range here. You have 1 1 and 1 4. You have 2 2s and 4 3s. So 1, 2, 4, and 1 is your numbers.
I'd say 3.
So if you take the high and the low out,
Yeah.
definitely have more 3s than 2s.
All right.
I don't know.
There
I'm
it
comfortable
is.
with 3.
All right. Policy review.
Matters in self-evaluation?
Sorry.
Sorry,
Go
I'll
ahead.
ask my
Go ahead,
question
Bob.
afterwards, forgive me.
I'm sorry. Yeah, policy review, you had 1 1, 2 2s, and 5 3s.
Makes sense. Yeah, which would be not listed in the provided document. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can imagine it just means they were doing what we need to do. Although 2
Yeah.
look like you're hitting the requirements, so I'm not sure what 3 really would be beyond that, except that you're developing policies that are specific to your needs, right?
Right. That's great. Okay.
And relationship with elected officials. Everyone go smile at Emily. You can give yourself a 4. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
You have 2 1s, 3 2s, 2 3s, and 1 4. So 2 3 2 1. So kind of a, again, 2 is probably the average score there based on those results. So what I can do, because I do have to submit this, I can take these scores. I can send the graphics of the charts of how these each scored in the bar graphs here on the survey. I can snip those and put those into an email so you guys can see all of them for next time. But just so 20 and 21 were the 2 that you guys gave 1s to, and then there were several that you gave 2s to, and several that you gave 3s to. So, but I'll put that all together so you all can see it. But I appreciate what you just did, because then I can at least complete the survey on time and be compliant. As Heidi and Jen and I work through the other ones above. So.
Well, who's enforcing your compliance?
The AOE.
AOE?
Yeah.
I just have one
Yeah,
question. Even though it's not directly board related, I would like to see, just because I'm a curious person, what the answers are that that central office has completed for the beginning questions.
Absolutely, I can share all that.
Yep. That's good. Thanks,
Yeah,
Diane.
so maybe next time we can get this with
Yeah.
this more.
Sounds like Bob will put it all together and be able to see that.
Sounds great.
Awesome. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
Like if you.
Submit that survey.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Was there anything else that we would like to share for the rest of the board?
Forgive me, sorry.
Ask your question. That was important.
I was wondering whether these are, like, the left column is the standard, and I was wondering what the source of these, like, is that a board standards? Are these like a set of standards that we should know are applying,
Yeah, this is what came out of the law, the DQS law. So we have EQS, which was the Ed Quality Standards, which has been on the books for a number of years. And this was an attempt, I guess, Emily can probably give you the background legislatively on it perhaps, but came through from the AOE as the implementation of what these standards were. So yeah, this is what the AOE is saying. These standards are the ones that boards ought to be measured against.
So these are like Vermont School Board good governance standards.
Yeah, again,
According to the AOE.
Yeah, not according to the VSBA or, but.
According to the state, but state laws version.
Good.
Sorry.
Good. And then yeah.
I was looking at the
Did you bring up the
VSBSA website, and they have a 10-page document listing DQS standards that went into effect July 1 this year that I don't see a lot of correlation with the standards that were on this. I mean, like big topics, sure, absolutely there are correlations. But like actual details wise, they seem to be structured in very different ways. But there's definitely some interesting stuff on the 10-page document of the VSBA website.
Does it have the link to the law? I mean, or does it say the act? DQS Act? I can't remember what it is, and I can't pull up internet on it. I just can't in this building, I don't know why.
And that's on the VSBA?
That's what he's looking at,
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
wondering whether because I was gonna actually, my hand was up to say, if I could pull it up right now, I'd send a link to all of you for the law, because I think it's important, and I didn't wanna ask Bob to do it.
I can just include it in the same email with all this.
If it's not
Perfect.
too much
Yeah.
trouble, Bob, I would love to have that happen, I was trying to avoid that by hoping
Yep,
we
not
can
a
get it
problem.
here, but thank you, it's okay.
Okay.
Bob's gonna do it, thank you for
Yep.
checking.
Good call. Yeah.
Because I think we should review the law if we're going to participate in a conversation about our district quality standards.
Sounds like there may be some different interpretations
Yeah.
of it as well. Okay.
No consistency.
No. Okay, thank you. That was great. More to come. No, seriously, I mean, really. More to come. Policy review and adoption. F5 behavior threat assessment teams. Who would like to take that example?
So that's something you guys have already warned and you're ready to adopt.
Yeah.
It's the VSBA model policy vetted by their attorneys. You guys have already reviewed it. Law, it's required to have it in place, so.
I will move to adopt F5 behavior threat assessment teams.
I second that.
Thank you, Peter. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion? Do we have any, we don't have anybody out there, do we?
Yeah. Drew was.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
Drew's
saw
there.
Drew, but.
Drew's on the top, guys.
I don't have my
Good.
glasses.
Hello. All those in favor, all those in favor say aye. I see Drew. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right. Principal reports. Let's see, we've got Scotty, let's start with you. Nice haircut.
Thank you. Thank you guys for everything. I just wanted to highlight a couple of quick things. Our harvest dinner is on November 20th. It's our big fall time farm to school event, and Amy Duffy is our farm to school coordinator. She's fantastic. We're actually meeting tomorrow or Wednesday after school to as our last meeting before the event. There's a lot of things that get donated from the community from a bunch of our collaborators, and we raffle them off, and it raises funds for our farm to school team. It also is one of our biggest parent events, and it's a blast. We all eat food. I'm going to bring in a big giant cravat of soup. Everyone brings in soup, so we all eat together. It's super fun. I want to thank Renee Merluzzi. She came on November 5th to complete a learning walk cycle with me. We had a script and a rubric to follow to give feedback to the school about our implementation of EL education. We went into 4 classrooms. I was very proud of the staff, and actually that's where I really want to stay for my time. Our staff over the past 3 weeks, we had so many events. And our staff has just been doing great. We had our circus and that whole week, and then we had all school sing, and then we had the costume parade, and there was just a lot of parents in the building, a lot of community members in the building, and our teachers were just working, and they're just doing great. I just want to thank them. This month, our PBIS celebration is a little bit interesting. A boy in our second grade classroom said that he wanted to raise money for the Living Memorial Park ski program because he likes to go skiing there. And so our PBIS goal this month is going to be teamwork, and we're going to be raising money and donating money to the Living Memorial Park ski program, which is very exciting. Priscilla Halvey and Elizabeth Halvey represented the WCSU crisis team, joining Greg Frost at the Governor's School Safety Conference at Killington on October 28th. And we're revising our building's plan to go along with the new learning that they did there. Our costume parade this year was indoors because it was raining, and it was a really hard call. I actually felt for Bob, the kind of calls he has to make in the wintertime. But it was a blast even inside, so it was great. And we had a whole multi-purpose room full of parents, and it was fantastic. Again, I would love it if any board members would like to come on the 20th. And please, if you do want to come, please just send me an email or something like that, and I'll make sure to save you a seat. It generally starts at 6. I believe it's 6 o'clock, but I'll get the details for you and I'll send them out. And that's really all I have.
Thanks, Scotty. Dana?
Yeah.
So you will notice the format for my principal report is a little different. Trying to focus on our SIP goals and highlight them for you a little bit better. So I feel like everything from the traditional board report is on this report, except for high quality staffing, which I pushed to the top, but everything else is listed in the SIP goals down below. So if you follow with me, high quality staffing, just want to report out that Laura Tabachnik and Kim Robinson continue to lead teacher learning strands around student engagement and Tier 1 instructional practices, and the staff are engaging with that really well. If you go down, then you'll see continuous improvement plans in the middle of the page. And so section number 1 is safe, healthy schools. And then in the boxes, I have our goals. So by 2027, 100% of students will feel a sense of belonging within, and it goes on. So beneath that, I put the 3 details of what I could update you on for what we're doing with that. We actually have a number of teachers attending a 2-day workshop on advisories. So that will be interesting to see how we're doing with that, but it also includes restorative practices and even uses some of the words that we have in our goal. Also beneath that, sense of belonging, again, Dan DeWalt, Laura Tabachnik are working on restorative practices and developing that with Jesse Greenschneider, and our students are actually part of that group and working with other students to build understanding within the school community and really align our goals and practices for how we are as people within the building. And then of course, finally, Lindsay Allen is our new SAP, and she's been focusing on relationships, systems, creating visibility for herself, and she's been such a positive, energetic addition to our community. It's been awesome. Another goal under the Safe Healthy Schools is that we will integrate the Portrait of a Graduate framework with Tier 1 instructional techniques. And the NEAS team actually met a couple days ago to discuss the Portrait of a Graduate. They had feedback from students, staff, and parents, and started really sifting all of it to find alignment and commonality to bring those top alignments to the surface of and I think we're going to go with vision of a graduate, I'm not sure, and then combine it and then get that back out for feedback. Under number 2, for academic achievement, we have by the fall of 2027 to improve Tier 1 instructional practices. Again, up top, we have a learning strand that's going all year where the teachers are being students, on developing Tier 1 instructional practices and engagement. We also had an internal teacher committee forum that's going to be looking at our VIII scores and our LCAS data, not for the purpose of providing interventions to specific students, but with a more general focus of what do we need to do with our courses and classes to raise the bar, if you will, for our students in terms of their understanding and practice, so that when they take the VIIT or the LCAS, they're performing better. In section 3, under multi-tiered system of supports, by 2027, we're gonna have a fully implemented MTSS system. This is interesting. Carly Sanderson and Emily Evans have been working to you hear Bob talking about breaking the silos down at the SU office. We actually have internal silos in our building, and Carly and Emily have been working very hard at getting those walls down, working with one another to make sure that our students and families have like a seamless continuum of interventions, supports, and services. It's been good. And of course, getting that word out to staff as our internal practice is shifting has been interesting work. And then finally, by 2027, that Leland Gray will implement personalized learning plans. And I see that keep popping up in documents from the state level, and I'm really proud of the teachers because they have embedded it not only in advisory, but also are starting to include more and more of that reflective work on where the students are considering, what am I learning, how am I doing with this goal. Ours is becoming a much more personal, organic system than what you see at most middle and high schools. So open to feedback on this format. I don't know if it's, just leave it at that. But very specific. I don't know how it's going to work for you, but let me know.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, before I forgot to ask everybody, did anybody have questions for Scotty or Dana? Apologize.
I have a Dana question.
You do? Okay, sorry.
Can you update me on that scheduling committee?
Yeah, so they met last Thursday, clarified goals, pulled out the draft from last year, and are meeting again this Thursday to see if they can solidify it. And one of the things that we talked about that really when we had a viable, or we thought we did, it hadn't been vetted to the staff, to students, to parents. We need to engage that process sooner in the year so that we have more feedback and go from there. The Act 73, like things keep coming out from the state. Bob just informed us, I guess last week, that they're talking about mandating graduate requirements, which would cause us to have a program of studies shift, which would change the classes, which it's like, wait, what? It's an interesting time in education, but that being said, we're gonna look and see what we can do. It's just getting more complicated, but anyway, we're moving ahead.
Good to hear.
Graduation requirements are actually going down, from what I understand.
There were two different plans. I did not commit it to memory. Bob probably could explain it more, but they took feedback. I think they extended the survey for people to give more feedback. I think the purpose is to provide equity from high school to high school for student experiences, which makes sense on the surface, but then when you start to look at implementation, you're like, wait, what? There were some, anyway, people have different opinions and they're taking feedback, so, yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
Brady.
Good evening. I'm gonna just highlight a couple of things on the printed report that you have, and I'm gonna connect back to a little bit on Scotty's report. Scotty talked about having a learning walk with Renee at Newbrook. And the learning walk protocol is something that we did some professional learning about at our leadership team meeting on October 16th. Allie Brown, who's the consultant that works with us through EL Education, was there, and she helped train us on this protocol. The following morning, on the 17th, all of the administrators from across the SU, along with Jen and Renee and Allie Brown, the consultant, came to Townsend, and we did our first learning walk together. And so our teachers had 3 groups of 3 or 4 administrators walking into their room continuously throughout their EL lesson that day. So we spent about 10 or 15 minutes in one classroom, walked outside, did a couple of minutes of debriefing about what we saw using a rubric that we had agreed upon. spent 10 or 15 minutes in the next classroom, 10 or 15 minutes in the last classroom. Then we all came back together and shared our impressions of things that we saw to really pull out patterns of practice. And it was a really great learning opportunity, I think, for us, and it provided some really great feedback to our teachers. And so now Renee is sort of taking that on and conducting those at each individual school. So she's already done one at Newbrook. She's going through other schools, and she'll be coming back to Townsend again at the end of that cycle, since we were the ones who started it and kicked it off. But it was a really great day, and really helped us identify the areas where we can pat ourselves on the back for EL education, and to see like what are those leverage points for our next steps together as a staff. And now Brynn Casamassa, who is our AST teacher, but she's also our EL coach, is going to be working with the teachers on those sort of next steps to take things to the next level. Under personalized learning, you'll see lots of enriching activities that are being planned or have been conducted. Our third, fourth, and fifth graders joined third, fourth, and fifth graders from Newbrook and some students from Wardsboro today at the dress rehearsal for Aladdin. And it was great, so I hope that you'll all go see it. It's been last year and this year, the director, Ray Chapin, invited fourth and fifth graders from the elementary schools to audition to fill in smaller parts. And I think it's a really nice way for them to get involved and to connect with their, with their older peers. And to start to envision, what life would be like for them when they get to Leland and Gray for middle school and high school. And so I know it's exciting for our students to go and see some of their peers up there performing alongside the big kids, right? And so they all had a great time there today, and when we went back, all of the kids were just abuzz talking about everything that they saw. Under high quality staffing, Chris Latour has joined us as our new custodian. He came from Leland and Gray. We just did a swap of custodians. And I am sorry to announce that on Friday afternoon, after this was already published, our fourth grade teacher, Joelle Nolting, resigned effective immediately for medical reasons. And so we are now in the process. The posting has already been posted. But I think that this is also a fine moment in the teamwork that is Townsend Elementary School, because Bethany Barton and Chris Jers, the third grade teacher and fifth grade teacher respectively, had volunteered to pitch in. And so we've created a schedule where each of them will rotate into the fourth grade classroom. Bethany will teach the EL lesson, Chris will teach the math lesson. The sub that we have for the fourth grade class will help supervise the independent work and the partner and group work in all three classes, so covering Bethany while she's in the fourth grade class, supervising her students who are doing their independent work after she's taught the third grade EL lesson to the third grade students. She goes next door, teaches the fourth grade EL lesson to the fourth grade students, and then she returns to her class, the sub comes back, supervises the fourth grade students in their independent work. Later, Chris comes, switches with the sub. After Chris teaches her fifth grade math lesson, teaches the fourth grade math lesson. And so it's really wonderful to see how people rally together in difficult times to help support our kids. And we're hoping that this doesn't have to go on too long until we have a permanent replacement. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Bethany and Chris, because they've really done a lot, and our school counselor Bree Madison is doing a lot to help support the students during this bumpy start to the school year. One of the things that we're looking forward to is unpacking some of the panorama data. So the panorama survey that went out to all stakeholders in the community. We've now received that, and we're starting to take a look at that. And on November 24th, David Cohn is conducting a a session on one of those PD days to help us all look at that data a little bit more closely and to see what it is that we can learn from what parents, students, and staff have contributed through the survey tool. I included pictures of the trunk or treat because at the last meeting, our superintendent guilted me into participating in the trunk or treat, which I wasn't sure I was going to do, but he brought it up publicly, and so I could not say no. So in a matter of days, pulled together a Harry Potter theme for my trunk. Across the classes, I think that I would, say that students are really settling in, I think, with the EL curriculum. And we can see that, our kindergarten class is, I think, further ahead than they were last year. They're already into their weather unit. Our first graders are, today I went in, there was glitter everywhere, but they're making, as one of the culminating parts of their unit, they're making mailboxes for different parts of the school. So there's this hands-on, practical, authentic experience that they have. I think you'll be happy to hear that I think that second grade is settling in a little bit better right now. Things are a little bit smoother there. With some extra support that's been placed there and some support from our special education director who has been a great thought partner with me on that. I think that that's really everything that's worthy of pulling up off the report for tonight.
Thanks, Randy. Kudos to your team for pulling together like that. That's incredible. Is there anything you need from the board? Anything that we can do to help out?
Is anyone a certified fourth grade teacher that would like to take this on for the rest of the year? Okay, well, nothing that
other than that, nothing comes to mind.
But if you see any of those folks, please thank them in person because they are doing a lot. And there's a ripple effect too that goes out, right? Because it impacts their classes and it impacts the rest of the staff, and the rest of the staff is really being really cooperative too. Changing our WIN schedule to try to make sure that it works best when we're looking at all three of those classes working together. People pitching in to help cover so that Bethany and Chris can now meet together so that they have a minute to talk about, the whole fourth grade class. And I think the parents have been, very patient and forgiving during this time. And so we're working hard to secure a replacement as soon as we can.
Oh, Scotty. Go ahead, Scotty.
I'm sorry to bring it back to me. I neglected to do something that I really wanted to do. Something happened that has to do with Leland and Gray and Newbrook that's really exciting. This book was just recently published. It's called Posey Parker and the Bulldog Bully, and it's written by a person named Jackie Stickler who goes to Leland and Gray now and went to Newbrook. And it's a book, it's an analogy, and it's animals that are populating the book. I do want to read, it says, this book is dedicated to Newbrook Elementary School in Newfane, Vermont, and it's available on Amazon. And it says, Jackie would like to thank his elementary school, Newbrook, his middle future high school, Leland and Gray, and all of his friends. And I just think it's a really cool thing that happened in our SU. And it was just in the paper, I think like a week ago. I think Chris Mays did a story on it, and it's just a really exciting thing for Jackie. Jackie also is one of the stars of the play that we saw today at the school. So it's just all really exciting. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Thanks, Scotty. When you guys were talking about this, when you were talking about Aladdin, and I remember when my kids were younger, the sharing of experiences between the bigs and the littles is incredible. It's so meaningful for those little kids. It started making me think about maybe when folks go away in March, that they could come back and maybe share some of those experiences with the elementary kids.
For a minute there, I thought you were talking about sending our elementary students to.
Just a few.
I'd give them a shovel
Okay.
start digging.
Yeah, right. 2 for 1. Great, thank you. And Bob.
All right, thanks, guys. So just a couple things. Dana mentioned the graduation requirements, so that is part of Act 73. And last week they had the AOE hosted an input session, I'm going to call it, where they rolled out a couple drafts, as he mentioned, around what different things could look like for statewide graduation requirements. I was in attendance at that forum up in Killington. I came to Leland and Gray the next day and shared with the staff the presentation and shared with them the survey, which is what the AOE is using to collect feedback on these drafts, I guess you would call them. One of the things I just want to point out that I thought was interesting, among many things, was that they are reverting to a credit model only. And I mentioned that, we use a credit model at Leland Gray as well, but when the proficiency-based graduation law had come out a number of years ago, we began shifting our thinking at Leland and Gray to have a real proficiency-based model, and to move away from simply a credit model, and that the course, in order to pass the courses, it was tied to proficiencies and so on and so forth. There was very little mention of proficiencies at this session by the AOE. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. That's appears to be one of the shifts. And I'm not entirely sure of the logic. There was not a big description of why. So that's one of the changes in their new proposals. As Al mentioned, both the models had a decrease in the overall number of credits than what we require currently. And I guess the range across the state was as low as 18, as high as 28, and we're at 26. So we were near the highest expectations for credits to achieve in order to graduate in the state. And of course, we have the community service requirement and the senior survival requirement on top of that. So, I feel like our high school has pretty high standards for achieving graduation. It'd be great if the rest of the state could meet us rather than us decrease, but we'll see how that plays itself out.
But before, I don't want, if you're done with what you were going to present on the graduation requirements, I want to just make a comment, I guess, first, before you go on to the next part of your report. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
I just want everyone to understand the process and what the law said, because it's a very, very small part of Act 73, which is this. And I'm going to just tell you what it says. Statewide graduation requirements on or before January 1st, 2026, the Agency of Education shall recommend to the State Board of Education standards for statewide graduation requirements based on standards adopted by the state board. And so I just wanted folks to know what Act 73 said, what the goal was, and then, try to put that in your head and relate it to this. It feels like a pretty big shift, and I have been hearing a lot of concerns about the work. So stay tuned is all I'm trying to say. I just think it's a shift a lot. And thank you for sharing the graduation requirements at Leland Gray compared to others across the state. I don't know how many are near us, but I've always felt we had high standards here. And I'm grateful for that.
Yep, thank you. Another thing related to Act 73, the redistricting task force continues to do their work. And I think since our last meeting, there's been a couple different things that have popped up. I think this was after our last meeting, but anyways, one of the models was what they referenced as a regional high school model. And that regional high school model, when I heard about it, I was a little nervous about what it would look like, because I understood that, they were looking at larger travel times for older kids, and you know, and even though Act 73 doesn't talk about closing any schools, it still, you know, made me nervous as I thought about what they might mean by regional. At any rate, the proposed map that came to the task force did include Leland and Gray on it, and in fact made what is in essence the West River District quite a bit bigger, with some additional towns that would probably cause some of those townspeople to not be very happy, because it would in fact potentially lose choice for them, depending on how it was constructed. But one of the things that I found most interesting about it was that based on where we are located and where part of our district is located anyways, the drive times to a CTE center are longer than what I think some people would like. And so there was some discussion on that map of having Leland and Gray also be identified as the CTE center. They estimated the high school population with the redistricting of that model would be 500 kids at Leland and Gray, so presumably would involve some shifting of resources for construction or renovation or something. And again, I don't know if that has any traction in the long term, but it just was an interesting thing I did not expect. So I guess the concern is that there are regions of the state where there are public high school deserts, if you will, areas that there's not a lot of public high schools. And so based on where we happen to be located, it's actually advantageous for us because if our school were to close, it'd be quite a bit of desert. And so it seems like there is a favoring towards Leland and Gray being one of those regional schools. That being said, there was also a BOCES model that came out, which was similar, at least one of the versions of it. There's been a few versions, was similar to the original 5 districts in that the BOCES would be roughly aligned with each BOCES would be roughly aligned with the superintendent regional districts, which for us is the southeast, you know, from Wyndham South west all the way up to White River Junction and beyond to Rivendell. It's a huge area, and that was one thing that was thrown around. And I guess just today, I believe, there was sort of a hybrid version of the regional schools and the BOCES that came out, which might be a little bit more balanced and blended. So anyways, there's still lots of variations coming out. And again, they have basically the rest of this month to vote on the up to 3 that will go to the legislature for the January session for the legislature to grapple with. So that train continues to travel on as well. Any questions about that?
I got one.
Go ahead.
So in reading loosely through those reports that came out and looking at the maps, I had the impression that the committee that is making the decisions about this stuff has very little knowledge of what we actually do here and what we have the capability of. And there's a lot of, I couldn't give you specific examples at the moment, but there's a lot of like, well, it would be great if they could do this. And we do already, check that box. So like, I don't know if we as a board should be communicating this to somebody, but like the people that are making decisions don't have the information that they need. And while that's something they should be more responsible about, it is something that we have the ability to fix. And I wonder if it's something that, I don't know. I don't know how to approach that, but I'm just putting it out there that
Are you
I
talking
was
about the redistricting task force? I'm sorry.
Yes, the redistricting task force.
There is a process if anybody can.
I mean, there were several things that were like,
I don't remember the specifics.
I wish I could remember.
But they were giving examples of other high schools locally, like Twin Valley, of things that they were doing. Seemed rather informed from everything going on there and completely unaware that Leland and Gray is doing very similar things.
Anyway, it just seemed like useful information for them, and it would behoove us for them to know those things. I mean, I personally couldn't say like, hey, I think this, but I didn't know if it was reasonable for the board to be like, hey, we noticed some inconsistencies and just want to make sure that you have appropriate information.
I can't really respond to it because I don't know what parts you're talking about, but I will say, and Bob should back this up, if it's what I'm saying is accurate. well, he won't be able to back this up. I'm gonna say, first of all, the push for the redistricting task force to gather accurate and current data has been powerful. And the first day when they first met and they started asking for data, there was pushback saying, wait, your job is to draw maps, and they pushed back again and said, well, wait, how do we draw maps based on the goals of the law without data to help guide us? So that was understood, and that's taken a ton of time, and I think the strongest feedback that they're getting is, well, or they're sharing, is that they've been asked to do an impossible goal. To do this in like a 3-month block has been crazy.
Yeah, of course.
But they've done a ton of work, and the data they're using is based on AOE. AOE is providing the data, and it's been very hard for them, for the AOE to provide it, and for some of it doesn't exist, some of it, I mean, if you read any articles in the paper, you might even hear where, well, we've been digging in and we actually couldn't get data from AOE because it doesn't exist. So this is a red flag, obviously. I'm gonna just speak for myself personally. We have no business making recommendations or changing laws based on lack of data. So if there is a process in place, and they're running out of time, but if there's a process in place and you have specifics that are inaccurate information, please feel free to share it on that website. There's a link on the website you can go to do that. Anybody should do that. Bob, I think you have been contacted by folks to get more data, am I right?
Yeah, no, I've heard from a few members of the committee and been in contact with a few, and yeah, it's hard to keep track of all the information. So like I don't know what Lindsay's specifically referencing either, but I would love, Lindsay, if you think of it.
Yeah, I'll have to look at the report again. I flagged it to myself, and I wish I could remember more specifically what. I think it had to do with at least one of the things had to do with some of the CTE type experiences, like whether we, like our connection with BEMSA and various other things. There were some specific things that were brought up about Twin Valley, and while they do not have a specific full, CTE, that they do have this and they have this, and then there's Leland and Gray, and next, and it like completely left out a lot of the things that we do offer. And there was a couple of things, but I'll look at it, Bob, and I'll let you know. It stood out to me, and while you were talking about it, it made me think of that. And
well, and keep in mind also that like when you talk about the people, you reference them as the people who are making the decisions, and they are making decisions in the sense that they're selecting up to 3 maps to send, but the real decision making really is going to come at the legislative level. So making sure that your legislators are aware
with the information that you were provided by this committee.
So we want it to be accurate, but we also know that there's going to be another place down the line to make sure we can get accurate information in there. So, but yeah, there is an email. You just hit it, send, and you just send them some info. So.
Can I just say one more? I know Chris let her hand up too, but I just want to quickly say, just to help if that makes the board and our county feel any better, there has been. I'll just say anecdotally, because I don't know whether it was stated at all these meetings, but I think it was to some degree, some surprised and general acknowledgement that while the focus on the Northeast Kingdom and the challenges they have providing education in that very rural area, the acknowledgement that Windham County, and I'm saying Windham County, not just Southern Vermont, but Windham County, is also in that same category, if not worse, is what I've heard. Now, we all know that already, and I especially know that sitting in the legislature and having been on the Education Committee and now back on the Education Committee, I know that. And I repeat it all the time, but it's been very gratifying to me to get that feedback, like legislators and members of the redistricting task force saying to me, wow, we had no idea, and that doesn't surprise me. So I just wanted to say that so that there is general knowledge about that. And I think the part that was mentioned about Leland and Gray and regional high schools, and please, there was a meeting today. I watched some of it, I couldn't watch all of it, but there were some decisions made, and it was very important, and that merged of the two proposals, which was the modified BOSI's, it's a BOSI sort of thing, and the regional high schools. That's an updated version, so anybody who's following this should really look at what came out today. There was some very interesting conversations today that happened, and even a vote that I heard happen. I don't wanna state what it was, cause I got called away and couldn't watch that part, but, so,
Thanks.
stay in touch. Sorry, I didn't mean to get in front of you, Crystal.
No, you're fine. So I just wanted to point out that like when this whole thing started happening, you know, I felt a little discouraged for Leland and Gray because I thought we're never gonna make the cut. Because we're so small, not because we're not good. So when those maps came out, I was like, oh my God, Leland and Gray is on those maps. And then when you look through some of the documentation, we actually had one of the informational meetings here. They quoted our Aladdin Maxon, who said, please don't forget about kids like me.
He did a great job.
So I felt pretty encouraged, like, I think, I don't wanna be overconfident, but I think we might make it.
All right, the only other thing that I had, just to mention is that, just folks who are on the budget committee, just be looking out for emails. We're gonna try to set up a committee meeting the first week of December prior to your next meeting. Just to share where we're at with things at that point. So you'll look for an invite on that as well coming up. And that is my report.
All right, thanks, Bob.
Can I just add one more thing?
You're cut off.
I think Terry is a good person to reach out to kind of put this information together quickly that you want to put together for these committees to have.
Oh, yeah, like what they.
Yeah. Yes.
What are we talking about?
For what things that we offer CTE type.
Oh,
Yes.
gotcha. Yeah.
And I think she could do it quickly.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
turnaround time for submitting is almost immediately.
Right.
They get
Yeah.
it sent, I mean, they won't see, the committee members, the task force members won't see it maybe the day, but they get it sent to them very quickly.
So,
Yeah.
if you have
But
something,
Sooner the better.
send it. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Minutes of 10/13/2025.
I have an edit.
You have an edit?
It says I
Okay.
wasn't there, but that I did stuff. But I was there and I did do the stuff, so if we could just add my name to the present at this meeting, it would make it make sense.
Okay. Was that the only thing?
That was the other one I had.
You need to delete me because I was in an MRI tube and I second the motion.
Oh, that's not.
Wow. So if you didn't second the motion, who seconded it?
Probably Lindsay, because she was here and I wasn't.
Okay, so.
I don't know. I'll take it if nobody else
Here,
wanted it. I don't know what it
not
was.
here.
Yes.
Anybody else here or not here or changes?
That was the other one
I
I
don't
had.
think I had my name on there, I didn't see it.
Okay.
Was it spelled right?
Would anybody like to make a motion with the amended
I
minutes
will
as stated?
move to approve the minutes as amended.
Second.
How appropriate. Any
Because
discussion?
I am here today.
Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We get a thumb. All right. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries unanimously. Correspondence. Did we have any correspondence? Did not see any. No? All right. Moving on, financials. You, Dana?
Okay, yep, go to
Alright.
me, because Joe's traveling. Pay order number 27 for $245,926.90. Pay order 29 for $301.22. For pay order 30, for $2,384.19, and pay order 31 for $13,461.84.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Crystal.
There you go.
Any discussion?
Thanks for looking at that.
Oh, I look at it. I like my own checkbook.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries unanimously. Okay, I think we've reached the end well in advance of 9 o'clock. Fantastic. I'll entertain that final motion.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay, for a second. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.